welcome back to a new video. Today we're going over not only the foundational difficulty level, but the entire skill. Moving forward, we're just going to be doing the entire skill per video, so expect to see foundational, medium, and advanced difficulty levels of this data inference skill. Everything that we need to know. Make sure to subscribe. This video is going to be a bit longer, but it's going to have more of that information. So let's go ahead and get started. According to a 2018 Gallup poll of adults around the world, 15% of respondents said they would like to move permanently to another country if they had the opportunity. If the poll results are representative of the approximately 5 billion adults in the world, approximately how many adults worldwide would like to move permanently to another country if they had the opportunity. To do this one, we just need to convert our percentage into a decimal, 0.15, and then subsequently multiply our 5 billion, or just 5, with 0.15, and we would get 0.75. 0.75 billion is 750 million. That means answer choice C is the correct answer here. On to another question. At a pop culture convention, 1/3 of the attendees are in costume. Approximately how many of the 6,000 convention attendees are in costume? Once again, we're just going to multiply 6,000 by 1/3, and that is 2,000. Not really that much to do here with this question. Geneva is a city-state with approximately 50,000 citizens. In a recent newspaper poll of the citizens, 3/4 of poll respondents were in favor of establishing a democratic government. Citizens polled a representative of all the citizens of Geneva. Approximately how many citizens are in favor of establishing a democratic government? Once again, we multiply 50,000 by 3/4, and the answer we're going to get for that is going to be answer choice C. On to our last question here. 2019, population of the UK was 66.7 million. According to a randomized poll, 41% of the poll respondents were approved of the country's leadership. If they were representative of the entire population, approximately how much of the population approved the country's leadership? Here, very similar to question number 1. We convert percentage into decimal, 0.41, and then we subsequently multiply 66.7 by 0.41. Going to get there is 27.34, which when rounded to millions of people, our answer is 27.34. When rounded to the nearest tenth of a million, we get 27.3 as our answer. Onto our medium difficulty level. Bernard randomly selected 10% of St. Francis citizens and asked them about their favorite coffee shop. Of the citizens surveyed, 7 said that Energized was their favorite coffee shop. Based on the data, what is a reasonable estimate of the number of St. Francis citizens whose favorite coffee shop is Energized? So 10% of these citizens, and then of that 10%, 7 said. So we're just going to convert from 10% to 100%. How we do that? We multiply by 10. And we are subsequently going to multiply our number of people who said Energizer was their favorite coffee shop by 10 as well. That's going to get answer choice D, or 70 people. On to our next question. Researchers measured the heart rates of several randomly selected astronauts exercising on stationary bicycles during long-term space missions. The researchers found that the mean heart rate of the astronauts was 155 beats per minute, with a margin error of 12 beats per minute at a 90% confidence level. Which of the following is the most plausible value of mean heart rate of all astronauts exercising on stationary bicycles during long-term space missions? So we just need to remember that this 155%, 90% confidence means it's plausible. So we can go within 12 beats per minute of this 155, which means we could add 12 or subtract 12. And in that range of adding 12 and subtracting 12 to 155, answer choice C, or 160. 5 beats per minute above 155 is the only one within that range. On to this question. Emmanuel surveyed a random sample of 50 subscribers to Auto Wheel magazine about the number of cars that they own. Of the subscribers, 15 own fewer than 2 vehicles. There are also 340 subscribers to Auto Wheel magazine in total. Based on the data, what is the most reasonable estimate for the number of Auto Wheel magazine subscribers who own fewer than 2 vehicles? So out of our population, 15 out of 50, the surveyed population, own fewer than 2 vehicles. So we can take our total and then put an X up here. We just have a proportion in which we use butterfly multiplication to solve. 15 times 340, dividing that answer by 50, yields 102. So 102 is the most reasonable estimate. Last, for the medium difficulty level, this person randomly selected 25% of Sound Sleep email subscribers and asked them how many hours of sleep they average each night. Of the subscribers surveyed, 16 average less than 6 hours of sleep each night. Based on data, what is the most reasonable estimate of the number of subscribers in total who average less than 6 hours of sleep? Once again, very similar to question number 1. To get from 25 to 100, we multiply by 4. So we're going to multiply our number 16 by 4 as well to get 64, which is the most reasonable estimate. On to our advanced difficulty level. We are with our advanced difficulty level. In a study of 40 randomly selected captive octopus Velagres, researchers found that the octopus could learn to integrate visual and tactile information to find food after an average or mean of 119 trials. The estimate had a margin error of 18 trials at a 95% confidence level. Which of the following is the most reasonable conclusion about the number of trials it would take for all octopi in general to learn to find the food? The evidence suggests that half of them would require 119 or fewer trials. This is not what the evidence said. The mean suggests that the mean number of trials would be 119. It's just the mean would be between these values, and the answer choice D is very similar to that. Remember, there is a margin of error. This is going to discount question number B that says the mean has to be this exact value. Now we need to apply this margin of error. You heard me talking about this in the medium difficulty. We need to add or subtract it. So we need to do plus 18 and minus 18 to that 119 to find that range of possible mean values. And 18 plus 119 is 137. And we also need to subtract to get 101. This means that D is going to be the most reasonable estimate to draw from these conclusions. In a random sample of 200 US adults, 152 have read at least one book in the past year. Based on the information, approximately how many of the 255 million US adults have not read a book in the past 12 months? So if 152 out of 200 had read a book, then 48 out of 200 had not. And then this is what we're going to use to set up with our 255 million, which we can just display as this one being 255, then adjust the zeros at the very end. So we'll do 48 times 255 and then divide that answer by 200. That gives us an answer of 61.2, and now we're just going to include that million behind it since this figure was millions. If you're uncomfortable with this, if you just want to include the amount of zeros that would make that a million and then follow through the calculations, you would get the exact same answer. So we just round to the nearest million. 61 is our answer. Alright, last question. Oh, no, second to last question. A random sample of international flights in 2013 showed that 79% of the flights arrived within 15 minutes of their scheduled arrival time. And this estimate had a margin of error of 3% at a 95% confidence level. Which of the following conclusions is best? So exactly 79%. We already talked about this in the first question. We can't make an exact, it's going to be this every single time when we have that margin of error and a confidence level. If that margin of error was 0%, 100% confidence level, then we could. However, in these real life data scenarios, that is never going to happen 99 times out of 100. So we can cross out answer choice A and B. It's not going to be an exact estimate. Now we just have to take out 79% and do the plus 3 and the minus 3. That is going to yield the range of 76 to 82, or that of answer choice C, and that will be the correct answer. Now on to our last question. An engineering student randomly sampled the train arrival times at a nearby station. Based on the results, the student estimates that 92% of trains arrived within 2 minutes of the scheduled arrival times. The margin of error for this estimation is 3%, which of the following is the most appropriate conclusion given the estimate and margin of error. So we have our percentage here and our margin of error. Once again, we are going to go ahead and do our minus 3 and our plus 3 to find that range of trains that could arrive within 2 minutes. That matches answer choice A, but let's just quickly skim through each of the rest of the answer choices. Exactly 92%. Remember, we can't say that exact. The student is 3% sure, then they couldn't draw a conclusion off of that. Student is 97% sure, well, a confidence level was not given for this question. So that proves answer choice A as being correct. And now we are done with our data inferences skill. Let me know if you like this more fast-paced, more questions, all 3 difficulty levels in one video down in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already for more of these SAT videos, and I will see you guys when we go over our next skill. Goodbye.